They told you it was just distraction, that you just needed more focus. But what if I told you the problem isn't you failing time? It's time being stolen from you? While you scroll mindlessly, something deeper is happening. The present moment is being erased. Your memory is failing, and your life is slipping away without leaving a trace. Sounds dramatic? Neuroscience has already proven it. Your brain isn't just tired, it's being fragmented, second by second. You're not just wasting time, you're losing your ability to live inside it. But what if you could stop it? What if you could reclaim your attention and feel, once again, like you actually lived the day instead of just surviving it? Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might change how you experience time, and maybe your entire life. Have you ever felt like an entire day slipped by and you have no idea what actually happened? Like the hours dissolved into something invisible? The truth is, time doesn't move. We do. Non-duality teaches us that the only reality is the now. Everything else is memory, projection, imagination. But when your mind is split across 100 fragments, you lose your grip on the now. You're not just distracted, you're disconnected from reality. And that disconnection is what steals your life, not the clock. You're scrolling, but what you're losing is presence. And that's a far greater cost than people realize. You probably think screen time is harmless, maybe even productive sometimes. But try this. Think back to what you saw on your phone this morning. Anything specific? Most can't recall even a single detail. That's not forgetfulness. That's memory loss caused by fractured attention. Neuroscience calls this temporal fragmentation, where no single experience has enough focus to become a memory. It's not time speeding up. It's you never actually landing in it. And when you're never present, it's like you never really lived. Silence becomes uncomfortable when we're used to noise. That's why the moment you try to unplug, it feels wrong, like you're missing something, even when there's nothing to miss. That itch to check your phone? That's not curiosity. That's absence trying to become presence again. But if you resist it, even for a moment, something powerful happens. Your body softens, your mind slows, and for the first time in hours, you feel like you're actually there, fully. Start small. Wake up and give yourself 20 minutes before looking at your phone. Let the day meet you before the world does. Breathe, sit, observe. This is what returning to the now feels like. Not glamorous, but grounding. And the more you do it, the more familiar it becomes. Not as an act of discipline, but as a return to life. The life that was always waiting underneath the noise. And we're just getting started. Ever finish a day and feel like none of it really registered? Like you were everywhere and nowhere at once? Jung would call this dissociation, when parts of your psyche lose communication with each other. And in today's world, our phones are the perfect tools for this fragmentation. Every swipe, every notification, splits our attention into smaller pieces. You're not just distracted, you're divided, mentally scattered across moments that never fully complete. It's like trying to watch 5 movies at once, but never finishing a single scene. And the cost? A self that feels more like a shadow than a whole. Jung believed that integration, the union of fragmented parts, was the path to wholeness. But how do you integrate when your attention resets every 6 seconds? When your brain never finishes a full cycle of thought or emotion? The result is a kind of cognitive limbo. You're alert, but unanchored. Awake, but drifting. And the more you live like this, the more the world feels unreal. Like you're observing your life through a window. You can't open. Always watching, never quite arriving. And always one scroll away from disappearing again. And what happens when this state becomes chronic? Anxiety rises. Focus fades. You chase stimulation but feel emptier the more you consume. Your inner voice becomes distant. And silence starts to feel like danger. This is what Jung might call your digital shadow, the unintegrated self that grows in the dark. It feeds on reaction and noise, and the longer you stay in this state, the more alien you feel to your own thoughts, to your own experience of being. But there's a way back. You don't need a major life shift, just a return to simple rituals. Write in a journal before bed, light a candle in silence, prepare tea slowly, with care. These moments reconnect you, not with the external world, but with your own inner rhythm, the part of you that doesn't scroll, the part that listens. That remembers, because memory is how we stitch meaning into time. Without memory, your life becomes a blur, a slideshow of empty images. Jung believed we are stories trying to tell themselves, but without presence, there's no story, only static. And if you've been feeling lost, maybe it's because your story's been told in fragments, one that deserves to be whole again. Ever said, "The day flew by and I don't even know what I did"? That's more than just busyness. That's existential emptiness. Sartre said existence precedes essence. But how can you build essence without real experience? If your day is made of endless fragments, where's the meaning? It's like reading a book with half the pages missing. You can guess the plot, but you don't feel it. Camus called this the absurd, our desire for meaning in a world that refuses to give us answers. But here's the twist. It's not the world that refuses. It's us, refusing to be present long enough to receive. This digital lifestyle gives you stimulation, not substance, and your brain begins to confuse quantity with quality. You watch 10 videos but remember none. You reply to 50 messages and feel more alone. The absurd isn't the lack of meaning, it's the overflow of distraction. And that creates a new kind of suffering. Not pain, but numbness. Not sorrow, but indifference. A dull hum that follows you from morning to night. But here's the existential offer. You can choose to return. Return to what? To real experience. To moments that unfold slowly. To memory that anchors you. Cook your own meal. Walk without headphones. Listen to a full album from start to finish. It won't fix your life overnight, but it will remind you what life actually feels like. And that's where meaning begins. Because meaning isn't found. It's lived. It's assembled moment by moment, like a mosaic. And when you're absent, those tiles never get laid. That's why you feel like something's missing. It's not something. It's time. Time you never inhabited, but you still can. If you dare to slow down. The mind runs even when the body is still. That constant inner buzz, that's not normal. It's trained chaos, shaped by habits you didn't choose. And nothing feeds that chaos like constant digital stimulation. Every scroll, every ping, resets your attention, and after a while, you forget what it feels like to be still. That's where meditation comes in, not as a spiritual trend, but as a recovery tool, a repair manual for a distracted brain. Unlike phone use, which promotes micro-attention, meditation rebuilds sustained focus. At first, it feels unnatural, sitting, breathing, doing nothing, but over time, it becomes the most natural thing in the world. The mind softens, time slows, the present becomes spacious, and for a few moments you feel whole, unfragmented. You don't need to be good at it. You don't even need to like it. Just sit, close your eyes. 2 minutes. No goal. Observe the thoughts. Don't fight them. Let them come and go like clouds. If you need help, start with voices like Thich Nhat Hanh or Jon Kabat-Zinn. They teach not escape, but return. Return to now. Soon this practice starts leaking into life. You eat slower. You listen deeper. You notice sunlight. You breathe fully. And suddenly, memories come back. Not the foggy ones, but vivid, detailed, warm ones. Because now you're there to witness them. Not just exist, but remember. Meditation won't solve everything, but it gives you something modern life takes away. The ability to be fully awake. Not just to the world, but to yourself. And from there, something shifts, and we move closer to what really matters. You're always in a rush, but where are you really going? That urgency you feel, it's not yours. It's borrowed. It's built into systems that reward speed over depth. Heidegger called this inauthentic living, when we exist, not from the core, but through automated roles. Time becomes a task, not a space, a race, not a rhythm. And in that race, the now dies. Our schedules run our lives. We wake to alarms, live by deadlines, collapse into bed. But do we actually experience the day? Chronos has replaced Kairos. Clock time has stolen soul time. You're doing a lot, but feeling very little. And that's a problem. Not for productivity, but for presence. The world convinces you that stopping is failure, that slowing down is laziness. But what if slowing down is the only way to reclaim life? What if pause is the gateway to meaning? Heidegger suggested we must confront our own being, not avoid it. And you can't do that while being yanked by notifications. The now isn't loud, it whispers. And unless you quiet the noise, you'll never hear it. Try this. Slow down a daily act. Make your coffee mindfully. Walk slower than usual. Brush your teeth with attention. These aren't hacks. They're rituals, ways of taking time back from automation. You don't need to quit your job or move to a cabin. You just need to start living as if your time is sacred, because it is. Heidegger wasn't preaching mysticism. He was asking us to live with awareness, to choose authenticity over performance. And if that sounds hard, it's because it is. But the cost of not choosing is greater, because inauthentic time doesn't just waste hours. It erodes your sense of self, of agency, of meaning, and maybe it's time to reclaim all of that. You don't need a guru to find presence. You just need attention. Not the kind you give to breaking news or trending posts, but the kind that notices steam rising from a cup, or the way your shoulders soften when someone says your name gently. This is gentle spirituality. No dogma, no pressure, just sacred attention to ordinary things. And it's more powerful than you think. The modern world rushes past the sacred. It wants speed, scale, efficiency, but your soul, it craves stillness, simplicity, moments that feel like home. Zen Buddhism teaches us, enlightenment is in the act of washing a bowl, not in a cave, not in a temple, but right here, if you're paying attention. Create micro-rituals in your day. Light a candle, write a line of gratitude, listen to one song with your eyes closed. Do it not to check a box, but to come back. These rituals are soft anchors. They tether you to the moment. And slowly, they rebuild your ability to feel, to remember. This isn't about quitting technology. It's about remembering you're more than a scroll. You're a soul. And you don't need big moments to feel alive, just deep ones. And deepness doesn't come from intensity. It comes from presence. And presence is always available. Even now, especially now. If you feel like something is missing, maybe it isn't something. Maybe it's how you're living. Maybe it's the presence you left behind while rushing through everything else. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to go back and find it. Now that you know how time has been slipping away, what will you do with that truth? Will you keep giving your presence to an algorithm that doesn't even know your name? Or will you start reclaiming the pieces of your attention, moment by moment? You don't have to change everything. Just one moment a day, one ritual, one pause. You'll be surprised how fast presence rebuilds itself when you give it space. Tell me, do you remember what you saw online this morning? Now tell me, do you remember what the sunlight looked like today? If this video stirred something inside you, then maybe that's your sign. To act, to remember, to come back. And if you want more ideas like this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Because sometimes, all a tired mind needs is a conversation that actually makes sense.